Hi everyone, my name's Shaya. I'm one of the lawyers from the Family Law Project. What I wanted to talk about really briefly today is a topic that's coming up frequently these days, which is what do you do if there's a dispute between you and your ex-partner around whether or not your children have the vaccination for COVID-19? Because of course at the moment we've got a situation where we've got the federal and state government both campaigning and encouraging children over 5 to be vaccinated, but this is not mandated, and at this point it requires parental or guardian consent. So what do you do if you both can't agree? Well, let's take a step back a bit, and generally speaking, unless there's an order of the court about parental responsibility otherwise, generally speaking, most parents will have what's called shared parental responsibility. And in a nutshell, what that means is that you both have input and a right to have input around decisions about your children's medical needs. So that will differ, of course, if there is an order from the court that gives one parent sole parental responsibility or gives one parent sole parental responsibility for medical issues. But let's put that to the side. So generally speaking, parents are required to agree on these things, or at least attempt to agree on these things. What do you do if you can't agree? Number one, avoid court, okay, and I'll get back to that in a second. What you should do in the first instance is try and negotiate with your ex-partner if it's safe to do so. That's always your starting point. That's always recommended. Can you sit down with each other, talk through your concerns that you've both got, and reach some sort of agreement? If you can't reach an agreement that way, can you mediate? And there's a big focus on the court anyway for parties to mediate or attempt mediation before going to court. So the sort of mediations you'd be looking at is either community-based mediation or private mediation, which can include lawyers. We go to them with clients quite a bit. With your community-based mediations, they're much cheaper. However, you could wait a few months to get in for your joint sessions, and often time is of the essence when you're talking about things such as vaccinations. With the private mediations, they're going to cost more, but they're a lot quicker to get into. If you get to the point where there's no agreement, then perhaps at that point your next step would be court proceedings. So what's the court going to do? That's the big question everyone's got. Well, what will the court say if we can't agree? Well, let's remember that immunisation, vaccination is not a new issue for the court. So the court has been, the family law courts, whatever they're called these days, they're changing all the time, but they've been dealing with the issue of immunisation, vaccination for many, many years. And there's lots of judgments that we can read about these sort of matters. So vaccination in itself is not a new matter for the court. What is new for the court is COVID-19 vaccination, and we're not seeing many of those judgments published, so that makes it a little bit more difficult for us to advise clients. What we do know with certainty, though, is ultimately the court is always going to look at what is in the best interest of the particular child. Is it in their best interest or not to have the COVID-19 vaccination? They're always going to look at the particular child, the particular medical issues or needs of the child, and the court's always going to want expert medical evidence as well. So if there are those medical issues that either give you concern about your child being vaccinated or not, how do you get that evidence before the court? So with the COVID-19 times, if I can put it that way, the court actually put together a really good initiative, a COVID-19 list, and it's a specific list to deal with all things COVID-19 related. And actually vaccination is one of those things that enables you to go through the COVID-19 national list. And even if you've got no other disputes in your family law matter, and the only dispute is vaccination, you can use this COVID-19 list to deal with this issue. So it's a specific list. There's a dedicated national registrar. Most of the hearings are done electronically. And we'll put in the comments the link for the documents and so on that you need to file for that list. But ultimately, the court's going to look at your particular child, what are their medical needs, or what is in their particular best interest as to whether or not they're vaccinated or not. And I think the big take home from this short video is to remember that parents are always wanting what they think is best for their children. So to remember that when you're negotiating with your ex-partner, even if you don't agree with them. And also remember that court's not the best option. So if you can negotiate, mediate, or even get a lawyer to assist in the negotiations, that's going to be preferable than court proceedings. So I hope that was helpful. If you would like to get in contact with us to discuss your particular needs, the link to our website will be below the video. Bye for now.